think we're back. I'm pretty sure we are. Facebook just decided to stop my live stream. So let me know if you find this, if you find the part two of the live stream. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that it's working. I hate when this happens. I was in a flow, I was in a groove, we were all doing our thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, live stream gets shut down. So let me know if you're here. Facebook broke my live stream. It completely ended it. So I'm going to kind of like keep going with this one. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I don't think it will, but let me know that you're here. Let me know that it's working. There's obviously some Facebook elves doing something behind the scenes that we don't know about. So I just want to make sure that this is actually working and that you guys are actually hopping back on, and all of that good stuff. But yeah, we're going to roll with it. We're just going to keep going, and hopefully it doesn't do it again, but let me know that you're here. Um, so last thing I said was, okay, so step number one is all about giving yourself permission to explore, okay, and to not get it perfect. So I know that the first question that's going to come up, I've been doing this for a while, the first question that's going to come up is, okay, Barbs, cool, we're going to add step number one, and we're going to play with it, and we're going to test and tweak. That sounds amazing. But then, if we don't have a niche and ideal client that's nailed down, how are we supposed to move forward with our business? How are we supposed to create content and programs and our marketing and all of that good stuff? How are we supposed to develop that and focus on that if we don't have a niche idea, a really detailed niche and ideal client, if we're not in step two yet? Okay, and here's what I recommend that will blow your mind. Believe it or not, okay, if you're in step one, picking your niche and your ideal client is not the most important piece, okay? There is a new layer, another layer, which is called your messaging, okay? So if you're at that stage of your business where you just want to get going, you just want to get working with people so that from that experience, you can say, I really enjoy working with this type of individual, or like, I'm really good coaching around this specific issue, or, most of my clients are coming to me about X, Y, and Z. Maybe I should niche down. You're going to step two. What you can do instead at the very beginning is you can focus on your messaging, okay? That is the all encompassing um, way of explaining what you do, why you do it in your business. Okay. So instead of saying, let me think of an example really quickly. Instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna give you my example because that's the easiest thing. My name's Barbara Iuliano. I am a business and confidence coach who coaches female new coaches into starting, growing, and scaling six-figure businesses online. I do this through my unique framework of strategy, confidence, and intuition, right? Like, that's very detailed. It took me a long time to really understand who I enjoyed working with, why I enjoy working with them, how I can serve people at my best capacity, and all of that good stuff. Instead of saying that, I could say something along the lines of, oh, let me think. I am a business and confidence coach, and my mission and my message is to help entrepreneurs build really fulfilling businesses through intertwining strategy and intuition. So I'm not niching down. I'm not getting really detailed as to like what kind of entrepreneurs I work with. I'm not getting really detailed as like a unique framework. I'm not getting really detailed into anything. It's just kind of like when I started my business, that's the only thing I had. The only thing I had is I have entrepreneurial and business background. I have a ton of education around helping people shift their mindset and build their confidence. Let me intertwine those two things and get into the market and see what happens. I didn't really know that I was only going to work with coaches. I didn't really know that I was only going to work with new coaches. Most business coaches hate working with new coaches. I love it, right? And I would not have been able to figure that out if I didn't give myself the permission to go into the market imperfectly. And the way to go into the marketing perfectly is just lean back into your message. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why are you passionate about it? Right? Um, and go with that versus like, let me get really detailed on who I serve. Okay. Your niche will unfold, right? Like the more that you work with people, the more that it's going to unfold, the more that you're going to realize what you like, what you're really good at, and all of that good stuff. Okay, now I know what the next question is. The next question is, okay, Barbs, that's all good and that's all perfect. I get it. Go with your messaging instead of your niche and your ideal client being really narrowed. Cool. But what about for those of us who don't even know what we do, right? What about for those of us who don't even know what we do? That's like a layer deeper of step number one, which is you're just thinking about starting a business. You don't really know exactly what you do at all, period, end of story. Okay. At the time that I was starting my business, I had an idea that I was going to be a coach, and I had an idea that I was going to be intertwining the mindset confidence piece with my entrepreneurial and business experience, right? So I had a little bit of an idea. What about for those of you who don't? Right? Like this all sounds great. Like I get it. I don't have to niche down. I don't have to get really crazy about my ideal client. I'm just going to broadly share my message and my passion and my mission, right? And work with some clients and then narrow it down. But what if I don't know what I'm doing? Now, there's a few things that you need to start thinking about, okay? I can't answer that question for you, right? No one can answer that question for you. I mean, you can brainstorm, we can coach around it, we can put ideas on the table, but ultimately that's a very personal decision, right? Like picking what you're going to do in your business or what type of coaching you're going to do, that's a very personal decision. So instead of telling you what to do, I'm going to tell you what to think about, okay? That is one of the most important pieces. And one of the things that sets me apart as a coach is that I literally help you think like an entrepreneur. I help you learn how to find answers like a CEO. And that's what we're going to do right here. I can't tell you, hey, this is what I think you should do, especially because I don't even know anything about your life, yourself, what background you have, right? It's really hard for me or anyone else to help you with that. But you can start thinking like a business owner. You can start thinking like an entrepreneur and like a successful coach and like a successful CEO and figure it out on your own. Okay. First thing I need you to stop doing is stop telling yourself that you don't know what to do, that you don't even know who you're going to work with, that you don't even know, because every time that you tell yourself that you don't know is one time farther that you're solidifying that belief, that you're saying like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Eventually you end up believing that you don't know, and then you don't even give yourself the space to find the solution to your problem. So the problem is that you don't know, but because you're so focused on the problem, you're not focused on the solution. So step number one, if you have no idea at all, stop telling yourself that you have no idea and you don't know. Okay. Start thinking like, cool. Um, I haven't decided this yet, but I know the answer is going to come to me. I haven't fully solidified what I want to do and who I want to do it with, but I'm actively working on finding that answer, right? So like see the difference in energy and the difference in approach, and how much more open you are to finding the solution to the not knowing problem when you're focused on finding the solution versus finding the problem, which is that you don't know and you're stuck. Okay. That's when you start thinking so much better. And that's when you start getting out of your own way and moving further. Okay. So we're going to stop saying that we don't know. And then we're going to think about the specific things. Number one, I want you to think about your life. Okay. This sounds super simple, but think about your life. Think about your journey. Think about where you've been. Think about things that you've overcome. Which one is it? Can you tell me? You've overcame? Think about things that you've overcame. I don't know. Bilingual problems, guys. Bilingual problems. Um, I'm sure someone smarter than me in here will tell me how you say it. And Nick will probably pop out of the room afterwards and be like, this is how you say it. He's always coming out and telling me. you're saying it wrong. You said this with an accent, or you said this way. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thankfully, people like me, despite that. Um, okay, so think about your journey. What transformations have you created? What have you moved through? What have you overcome? What have you navigated? What really difficult situations in your life are you proud of that you went from point A to point B, right? So the first thing is you. What have you navigated personally, despite education, despite anything? Like, you as a human being, what are you really good at? What are you natural at? Think about those things that most people say, like, oh my God, you're so good at it. And you're like, what? Like, everyone should be good at this. No, everyone shouldn't, right? Like, think about those things that you're really, really good at, that people are always saying that you're amazing at. Um, or that you've overcome, or that you moved through, because that could be it may not be the thing that you do, and it may not be the person that you do it for, but it is the beginning of brainstorming that and making that decision. Okay, so think about your life, your journey, your struggles, your natural talents, and all of that good stuff. Don't downplay this. I feel like what a lot of people do here is like, yeah, but most people are great at managing their time. Like, who would pay me for that? And it's like, most people are not good at managing their time, right? Like, most people are good at eating healthy. I mean, there's so many documentaries on Netflix. Why would anyone pay me to help them through their journey? No, most people are not, right? Like, if they were, then no one would complain about their weight or their health, or how out of control they feel around food. So don't downplay yourself while you're doing this brainstorming. Remember, there's going to be a time that we're going to test this, okay? So if you slightly feel like, this is not a profitable idea, this is not a profitable path, there's not even this type of individual, we're going to test it out. That's part of this phase. We're going to test it out. So if it's not a good business idea, totally fine. We're going to know that really soon. The next thing I want you to think about is your education, okay? Whatever that looks like to you. In my household, in my relationship, we have two completely different paths, right? Like, Nick has a master, he went like the very educational route. I went the educational route, but did not get as far as he did. So it's not about how far have you gotten education. Do you only have a bachelor's versus a master? It doesn't matter. Like, it could literally be like books that you read, courses that you've taken, whatever level of education you've had, whatever additional course or training or whatever you've taken. Think about those things. Those things are usually a good foundation to picking your very broad niche and ideal clients. Okay. Next thing I want you to think about, it's your experience, right? Work experience. That is super, super important. It doesn't matter what it has seen. It's part of what makes you who you are. It's part of what makes you good at specific things. Okay. When you start diving deeper into your strengths, into your weaknesses, into your experience, your education, everything that makes you you, you can start like threading together who you can start working and serving. Okay. Now, remember, we're not going to get this perfect at first. This is the whole point of adding a phase one to picking your niche and ideal client. It's not about getting it perfect. Okay. Once you decide that, you're going to test it out. Okay, we're going to start getting out into the market. We're going to start getting people on the phone. We're going to start coaching individuals. We're going to start creating a content and social media marketing strategy and seeing if people are resonating, or if it's working, or if it's being effective, right? And that's when we can start testing and tweaking and changing and solidifying and narrowing down. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. I want to know if there are any questions. For those of you who are here live, let me know if something is coming up for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Any specific problem around niche or ideal client that you need support around, post it in the comments. I always come back and respond. 99% of the time I do. So post in the comments. I'm happy to support you further. And I also want to know what specific struggles you have, because the more that you guys communicate with me, the better episodes that I can do for you on a week to week basis and support you in growing and scaling your business. So post that in the comment section. And I'm just going to recap it one more time for those of you who maybe hopped up late or whatever. So picking your niche and ideal clients, I take a different approach to it. Okay, most people start with step number two, which step number two is picking a really niche down ideal client and niche. Okay, I'm not against that. I think it's really important. I think eventually that really helps you in your business and that really helps you in your marketing efforts. So the goal is to get to that point. The goal is to get to that point where you know specifically who you work with, how you work with them, why you do it, the way that you do it, right? So I gave my example. Like, I did not start out knowing that I'm going to work with coaches. I didn't start out knowing that I'm going to work with new coaches. I didn't start out knowing that I was going to work with female coaches, right? So, like, these are all things that I niched down to. And it all happened because I gave myself the opportunity and the permission to start with step number one, which step number one for me was coach people, right? I did that little bit of exploration that I just told you about. I thought about my education, my experience, my expertise, my passion, what struggles I've gone through, and all of that good stuff. And I started out very broad. And I got to coach men, women, business owners who had online businesses as product based, business owners who were service providers, local business owners, right? Like, I got to coach the whole spectrum. And I loved pretty much all of them. But eventually I started to realize, like, well, my mission has always been to make an impact in the world. And it just felt really, really good. And I also felt like I was really, really good at coaching coaches. Because to me, when I help a health coach build a very successful coaching business and make it profitable, that creates such a ripple effect. Like, not only am I helping this person change their life, but this person is changing other lives, right? So to me, my vision was always like to create a stellar field on this world. That's why Starland Coaching is the name of my business. And there was no better way to do it than to coach the people who are actually creating that ripple effect as well, right? For me, when I was coaching like Shopify owners and Amazon owners, like, it's not that we weren't progressing, it's not that we weren't getting results, it's not that it wasn't really cool. It's just that it felt kind of bland to me. It felt like, okay, cool, I'm helping you make more sales, I'm helping you with your paid advertisement, and and increase your profit margins and things like that. And that's fun and all, but like, also you're selling stuff, and I feel like that wasn't in alignment with my vision. But I was only able to realize that because I gave myself permission to create phase number one, which was test the waters, work with people. Don't try to get your niche and ideal client perfect from day one, because it is nearly impossible. Every once in a while, I do work with an individual who's like, I know what I want, I know who I want to do it for. I just know. And that could be your case. But most of the time, you don't get it perfect right out of the park. You just don't, right? So give yourself permission to test and tweak. And if you're even at that stage where you're like, I have no idea at all whatsoever who I want to work with and how I want to work with them, you need to start thinking like a CEO, and you need to start making that business decision on your own. So I gave you a few things to start thinking about, brainstorming, journal around, which is like your own experience, your own struggles that you've moved through, your own education, your own uh, work experience as well, life experience, work experience. I want you to start brainstorming that. I want you to start brainstorming the vision for your business, right? So, like, that's something I'm so adamant about, right? Like, you need to start thinking like a business owner if you want to start creating long lasting, sustainable success. So, start thinking about the vision of your business, right? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Um, think about all the things that make you you. Think about all the things that make you great at specific things, and don't downplay it. And that's how you're going to start testing it. Then you are going to focus on your message more than your niche and ideal clients. Your message is so much more important at a certain level, okay? Especially at the very beginning. The overall message of the magic that you want to help people with a lot of times has more power and more flexibility than the specifics, okay? Um, so for example, I just worked with a client, we're done working, but we, I can't remember exactly what their message was, but it was something along the lines of um, helping people find their purpose so that they can, oh my God, I have such bad memory. Helping people find their purpose so that they can, I can't remember, but it was something very broad, something along the lines of like, so that they can finally find the job that really lights them up, or so that they can finally feel fulfilled on a day-to-day basis, right? So broad, cool, we can definitely narrow it down, but it still gives us the capacity to create a program, marketing, content, and all of that good stuff. Okay. Is this making sense? Did it make sense to you guys? Do you have any questions? I am so excited to come here every Monday and help you grow your business. I love each and every single one of you. For those of you who are new here, I forgot to introduce myself. I am the host of this community, the Land of New Coaches, and I am I kind of did it through the live stream, but I am a business and confidence coach who works with new coaches to help them start, grow, and scale wildly profitable businesses through my unique framework of strategy, confidence, and intuition. We go live every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I put up polls throughout the weekend so you guys can vote on which topic you want me to cover. And I also give you the opportunity to tell me what you want me to talk about. What are you struggling with in your business? What do you want to achieve? What are things that you don't understand? Post them in the group, post them in the comments, post them in the threads and the polls and all that good stuff, because I'm here creating content and support for you, not for me. Um, so the more that you communicate with me your needs and desires, the more that I am here to serve them. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Sorry that this broke into two pieces. Hopefully you'll be able to figure it out by stitching them together. Um, yeah, and I'll see you throughout the week in the group and next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye, everyone.